Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Midweek War! It's me, I'm Mad Mike, and we are here to talk Lucha Underground. Y'all know that time of the week. And with me, sadly not Krista Joseph, because, oh boy, do we have more questions for him. But with me, as always, is the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling, Eamon Paton. Welcome back, sir.
Well, I was going to say not as always, but because I unfortunately did not get to be here to talk with Krista Joseph. But my excitement for Lucha Underground is still very high, and I love the first episode, and I'm very excited to talk the second episode as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So am I. All right, Eamon, well, you know how we do things. ¿Cuál es tu una palabra para this episode of Lucha Underground?
My one word for this week's Lucha Underground is advancement.
Okay, I like it. Mi palabra es war. That may be a theme running.
That could be. There's a lot of talk.
There's a lot of war talk.
Drink every time the phrase war is used or side of war is used.
Mm-hmm. And don't drink every time they don't say, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Anyway,
wow.
I know. It was a long way. I apologize. Long way for that joke. Eamon, what is your bueno for this week's episode of Lucha Underground?
I'm going to take one that's probably, that way I can give you the one I think you're going to go for. Mine is the cop storyline advancement.
Damn it!
Oh, I thought you were going to go with a different one. Okay.
No, honestly, there's a lot of things I could go for this week.
There is, yeah. We got a lot of stuff that advanced the whole cop storyline stuff. You know, I really love this episode story-wise, especially I love the way it was structured. Like the whole, like, we kept going back before Ultima Lucha and like moments like back, like, you know, to, you know, multiple millenniums ago, you know, I like that it wasn't just like as things were happening on the show. I like that we had some different transitions in the scene. But we got a lot of advancement with Joey Ryan and Cortez Castro. It looks like Joey Ryan's going to play double agent for Dario.
Shocker, he's a dirty cop. I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocked, I say. And this episode was framed so well because of the jobber matches.
Yeah.
Because, like, we knew we had the big match at the end, so I know a lot of people might think that this episode is a little too jobbery, but did we get a ton of story.
Yeah, it was a very story-driven episode, and I really didn't mind that the match, like, 2 of the 3 matches were pretty short.
Yeah, and honestly, even the short matches had some story basis to them too.
Yeah, there was a lot of really great story advancement, I think, on this episode. It was culminated with a really amazing just wrestling match. Not right, really amazing
wrestling match.
Well, yeah. But that kind of culminated the whole show. But I like that everything else was really storyline based and kind of, you know, told a longer narrative. But yeah, as I was saying, it looks like Joey's going to play double agent with Dario. Cortez Castro is on the other side. He's on the other side of the war, and is sticking with Delgado, I think it is.
No, it's I wrote it in the notes too.
I wish I could remember those parts.
It's Vasquez. Captain Vasquez. Delgado is the councilman, I believe.
Right, and we find out more on Captain Vasquez as well.
Do we?
I think so.
All right. Okay, hold on. Before we even get to my bueno, let's dive into this, Eamon, because I have theories. I'm sure you have theories. We're both probably wrong.
Right.
What do you think is happening with these two, with Captain Vasquez and Catrina?
Well, the Captain Vasquez Catrina link I have no idea about. Like, okay. I don't know if, to me, obviously, to kind of give some backstory on, so for those that didn't see it, so they cut to this thing from millenniums ago where it's an ancient Aztec, like, young female girl tending to, like, her ailing father, who's talking about a war that's happening and could not or could be going on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's fitting because the stuff the dad says to his daughter is the same stuff that she was saying, that Captain Vasquez was saying to Cortez. Like it was almost word for word, which I think was a really nice touch. And at the end, her father hands her a medallion that's on a chain or whatever. And then we cut back to Captain Vasquez getting mad at Cortez about the whole Dario stuff. And then she pulls out the medallion that was shown from millenniums ago, but it's only in half.
And it's important to note, this medallion is not one of the ancient Aztec medallions.
No, it looks much different.
Yeah. I thought that was what it was originally. I thought that's what it was. I'm like, oh well, because I thought, just a brief aside before we got the reveal of what it actually is, I thought because it can only be used by a female, I'm like, oh shit, that's in the Gifts of the Gods, and Sexy Star has that now.
That's actually a really good. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's
like
really
that. That's why I initially thought, I'm like, oh my god, was that part of the ancient Aztec medallions? And now does Sexy Star have the power of immortality? Because that would be amazing.
He makes it a point to say it can only be used by a female. And the big twist at the end was that as Catrina is calming down Mil Muertes with this stuff with Prince Puma, she pulls out the medallion, the other half of the medallion, which it makes it seem as she. Here's my thing: it makes it seem as if she just got it. That she just got that second half.
I don't know. I think she's had it. I think because
I'd have to listen to what she said because it made it seem like, I don't know, with some of the way she delivered that line, like it made it seem as though she had just gotten it.
Maybe, I don't know. All right. So do you have a theory on what's going on with the two of them? Because I have one. I'm not.
Here's my theory now that I think about it.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, I think Dario originally had the second half, and maybe Catrina got hold of it when she had control of the temple.
Okay. All right. My theory. Now, Eamon, go with me on this one because it's Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a thing.
Okay.
Catrina and Captain Vasquez are the same person. But
they could be the same person.
But they're that little girl split into two people.
Either that or they're from the same tribe. At the very least, they're from the same tribe.
Well, yeah, okay. I would go. That's probably more accurate, but I feel like the fact that we don't know Captain Vasquez's first name. I don't believe.
I don't think so. No.
We might at one point. People, please feel free to correct us on that. I'm not sure if we do or not. I'm not going to look it up because, as we tell you every week, don't Google Lucha Underground. Don't do it.
Nope.
You'll get spoiled. But I mean, Catrina's always in the darkness. Captain Vasquez works for the police. Dark and light. I want to say they're the same person, like two halves of a whole. I want to say like something traumatic happened to that little girl when she became a woman. I'm going to assume it involves Aerostar because he's a time traveler. He's a time traveler. I'm going to assume like maybe she couldn't use, like maybe the little girl could not use the power for her own will, and Aerostar somehow split like did a solid like a King Solomon. Split her into two beings, and each of them had half a medallion, so they couldn't wield the full power.
Because they can't consciously be the same person.
Oh no, definitely not.
Because if so, they would have gotten to Dario by now. Because Catrina got control of the temple at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I don't think they even know about each other. I think they just know that because there's half of a medallion, another half has to exist somewhere.
Yeah, but that's just kind of what makes me think that. I don't know. It makes me think that Dario originally had possession of the first half.
I don't know, because I think the half of the medallion Catrina has is what gives her powers.
Maybe.
I mean, she was in Graver Consequences too, and she was thrown in that grave, and then she disappeared.
Yeah.
And she has been able to like resurrect Mil. So I have a feeling that she's always had that. It's just now we've actually been shown. Like maybe she found out that someone else has the other half.
Okay, so but you say like the fact that she at least has that first half like can still give her the power to do that kind of stuff, because if so,
either that or maybe Dario had the other half like you're saying.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't Catrina who found it. Maybe it was Officer Vasquez who found it in the raid of the temple.
Possibly.
Because, like, if Officer Vasquez found that, because we don't know, like, Dario might not even know what that was. He might have just thought it was a fun trinket. And because it didn't do anything, because he's a male, he just kept it and didn't even worry that it was missing.
That's true. I just think also if Catrina can have that power with only having one half of it, then does Captain Vasquez know that she can do the same?
She probably doesn't.
And
plus, she's never.
She
hasn't been in the temple. She hasn't been in a fight. She hasn't had need to use those powers. Katrina has.
I just also think.
I'm just hoping Captain Vasquez realizes she can bring people back from the dead, and we get Mr. Cisco back.
That could be a possibility.
Zombie Mr. Cisco.
Because I just have to think that the reason she's going for Dario, that she's very focused at least on getting Dario, is for some reason. Mm-hmm. So I think that has to come into play. I think it's.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's after Dr. Claw, I would assume. She doesn't know who that is, neither do we. But she's after Dr. Claw. Like she would be Penny in this scenario, and poor Cortez Castro would be Brain. We don't know who Inspector Gadget is yet.
Maybe it was Joey all along. But no.
No, that's a different Inspector Gadget.
Oh Jesus. But no, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. This is a nice, interesting twist of things.
But by the way, I just want to point out, all these things we're talking about, immortality, medals, and crooked cops, this is on a wrestling show. Yeah. This is not a CW. This is a wrestling show. It's awesome.
Now that I think about it, Dr. Claw is basically the guy in the limo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, even Krista Joseph last week was making Inspector Gadget jokes with us. So, I mean, he definitely has confirmed that Dr. Claw's the guy in the limo. But, okay, so moving on. We'll go to my good.
Mm-hmm.
Mi bueno. The Weapons of Mass Destruction match.
It's really good.
Holy crap. It was so... I feared for their lives several times. Like, just feared in general for those men's well-being.
It was really, really fun.
Eamon, Marty the Moth.
Kind of the MVP of Lucha Underground, I feel. Like
he really is. He, like, seriously, I said this last week, I'll say it again. His injury on Tough Enough may have been the best thing in the world to ever happen to him.
Yeah.
Because if he was in WWE right now, he'd be Martin Cassius, Tough Enough winner, all-around kind of weird guy, but he might not even have a title reign at this point. Like, Marty the Moth is insane.
Yeah.
He reminds me of, like, in DC Comics, Dr. Light. He kind of reminds me of Dr. Light, and that's frightening. For anyone who knows anything about Dr. Light, I think it's dead on. Like, I think it's pretty accurate.
He's really kind of coming to his own almost, and then like even if he were to have like some time in WWE, were to have had some time in WWE and then have gone to Lucha Underground, obviously, you know, people have your opinions of you when, you know. I love that he left with such like we forgot, like when he first showed up in Lucha Underground, it took us like a minute to realize that he was on Tough Enough. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't recognize him really. And
especially like when he first showed up on Lucha, he was a joke.
Yeah.
Dario would not let him in the temple. Like he showed up with a big Aztec bride shirt, and honestly, I thought he was like their answer to Bailey. Like I thought, oh, this is cool. He's gonna be like a fanboy. This is kind of fun. No.
Yeah.
No.
Much different.
Much different.
We'll obviously go more into the match. I really love the aesthetic of this match. Like they just the little stuff of like them tarping off like the stands or whatever to make it look like an actual war zone. Like I thought that was really fun. Just like the gun turrets like on the balconies and stuff like that.
A random warhead just chilling.
Yep. Really, really fun. Just really cool aesthetic. And it's something like it reminds me of it's like and I think I've said this before with Lucha Underground. It's like like remember that period of TNA where it was like all those gimmick matches that were like all themed? Like it was that but done right. Like this was like the last rights match, but like done properly.
But done seriously.
Yeah.
Like and plus Marty the Moth comes out looking like a cross between Platoon and Tank Girl. Like, like geez, Marty. And when he got busted open, oh my God, he looked good. Like,
I love that it happened kind of slowly throughout the match, and then it like stopped at one point, and then he got like hit with something else, and it kept going. Like and I think the commentary pointed that out. Like really, really good.
Like
and
he reopened the cut or something like that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I really, really enjoyed the violence level of it.
Yeah, and you know who we have to give an MVP to? Like underrated MVP? Melissa Santos.
Side note, going to Melissa Santos. I'm going to critique Max Striker for something later, but Matt Striker had my favorite line in this match early on when Marty's trying to run away, basically, and he grabs Melissa Santos as like a shield, and Matt Striker, in full view of where like the camera's pointing, because the camera's kind of pointing towards the commentary tables, just stands up and go, "That's a hostage. That's bullshit."
That's right. That's right. But and Marty also did. And I gotta say, I feel bad for the cameraman that got hit with the ladder.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a little dangerous. It was a little like the crowd got on like that almost killed the momentum of the match to me. Almost killed it because it kind of took me out of the match a little. Like, because you could tell Marty didn't know what to do for a split second, then he just flipped off the crowd and kept going. But it was a little. I don't know if I would have kept that in because I heard this match was like heavily edited, like it was a much longer match. But I don't know if I would have kept that in.
I think it was fine. Like I don't know. It just added to the chaos a bit for me. Like obviously it wasn't supposed to happen or whatever. But like I still loved it. Like I there's something about the I like when stuff is a little bit like when you include stuff like that sometimes with a show like Lucha that is kind of edited in the way it is because I like that you don't always edit out stuff like that. Just from certain aesthetic point of views, I guess. Like sometimes I like that you include stuff that's not supposed to happen, but maybe that the wrestlers work with or whatever. And I think Marty worked with it well eventually. But yeah, this was really, really great. Very, very violent. The finish was crazy.
I can't believe they. I was a little upset that they brought Mariposa out.
I understand why they did. Like I liked. I like that they kind of reinforced that these two are brother and sister. Like I like that. I thought that was cool, and I was wondering what Mariposa was going to do this season. Really, like because she had the thing with Sexy Star. They culminated the whole thing at the Gifts of the Gods match, and I was like, well, what's next for Mariposa? I like that she kind of came out. I thought it was a nice little touch because that's the thing when Mariposa was fighting Sexy Star. A lot of the times Marty would come out to help her.
That's true, but that's also because Marty had an obsession with Sexy Star.
That's true. Yeah,
like Killshot doesn't really have any allies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean that double stomp.
I did not know what
Oh.
I was literally like when they were setting up. I was like, what is he going for?
Oh
Like,
no! It's like first they teased the superplex. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't
yeah,
do that.
yeah,
That's not good. By the way, the superplex they did do. Ouch!
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ouch! That just looked like it hurt. But as soon as like they weren't going to do a superplex off the ladder, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna ride him down a double stomp surfboard thing, isn't he? I'm like, oh no, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's gonna hurt. And it looked really, really good.
It looked fantastic. I love this, like the kind of moment right before him ripping the dog tags off of Marty and then doing the move. Like I thought that was really cool. Yeah, it was just super fun. And going like that superplex spot that you were talking about. Like that's the thing I like about this kind of style of match compared to like the TNA ones I mentioned is like back in the TNA ones, they would be hitting each other with like gravestones that were just like, made of,
Foam.
foam and you were supposed to sell like they were actually things. No, they get suplexed onto like metal, like I guess weapon containers.
Like they had a legit gun there.
Yeah.
They had a legit like Killshot took off a machine gun and butted Marty in the head with it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure it was not a real gun, but it was real metal. It looked like it hurt.
But that suplex, like that superplex, like looked like it sucked. Like it looked like it sucked for those guys.
Yeah.
Like I think that is what makes those kind of matches better is if you can actually kind of sell it in a way where it's like it feels.
I think Stryker said, you're Stryker or Vampiro. One of them said, if you can make people in the temple wince, you know it hurts. Like, and that's the point. Like, they showed one fan there. It was a girl that was just looking like, oh my god, like, oh, that was such a great reaction. Because it was like a point where both guys were down. And I'm just like, oh, that's perfect. Props to whoever cameraman found her. Because she was like, you could tell this is like her first experience with the whole show. She's like, oh my god, what is this?
Yeah, it was really perfect.
And I did love that like they used the whole temple too.
Yeah.
And Marty, props to Marty for clearing the announce table when he was thrown. Like he cleared that shit. That's impressive.
Yeah.
It looked like it hurt like a son of a bitch, but that was impressive. All right. But not every show is perfect. We always say that. So, Eamon, do you have a malo this week for Lucha Underground?
I do have a malo for this week, and I alluded to it. And it goes to Matt Stryker. I usually love Matt. I think there's a lot of people that don't like Matt Stryker, but I love a lot of his commentary on Lucha Underground because of what he can sell. I didn't like his call of Mil Muertes' finish.
Oh, fuck you! That was great! I thought that was great!
That seemed like a good idea that came off really awkward.
I thought, all right, for those of you who didn't watch it, by the way, if you're not watching Lucha Underground, fucking watch Lucha Underground. Sorg, talking to you.
He promised he would.
Catch up. But Matt Stryker, because Mil Muertes' finisher is the flatliner.
Right.
So Matt Stryker setting up for it. Beep, 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 beep. That's perfect. That's a perfect call. I'm sorry.
Maybe it was because of the fact it was the Argenis match, and the crowd was kind of. I mean, they were. It was a squash match in a way, so the crowd wasn't like crazy for it. So like maybe if it was in a more emotional match, it would have been better. I don't know, but I thought it was a good idea that came off really awkward. Like
okay,
it just you know what I mean. Like
I think he could have timed it a little bit better, but I love the idea of it. I love it. It's like. That's like JR screaming, Stone Cold, Stunner. Like it was like that. But Stryker did have another great line. Oh God, what was it? Hold on.
Was it about the WMDs being in Syria?
No. It was way better than that. It was Killshots died. He was 28.
Oh, I did like that line. Yeah.
Like that. I lost. I'm like that is so good.
See, some people, I don't know. I like those. Some people don't like those lines from Matt Striker, and I enjoy it. Like, I think like it feels like he's having fun and is really enjoying it, and like, I don't know. Like
Well,
sometimes,
see, the thing is, Matt Striker hasn't really changed how he does commentary. What's changed is the environment in which he does it. Lucha Underground is a completely different animal from him talking on SmackDown. Like, if he said something like that on SmackDown, it wouldn't fit. Because guess what? No one's getting killed on SmackDown. No one's barely getting injured on SmackDown. Like, in Lucha Underground, there have been legitimate murders. Like that fits the environment.
But also, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a commentator, but like I can tell when he does it, he's doing it for a reason. Like he's doing it to either try to sell a certain point or to sell a certain emotion or whatever. Or to sell like a big spot. Like that sells how big that spot was. You know what I mean?
Look at the Foley falling off the Hell in the Cell. Like
to me,
like Jim Ross's commentary on that is iconic. But I think the best line during that match is I believe it's when Foley gets chokeslammed through the cell, and all you hear is Jerry Lawler goes, "Oh, that's it, he's dead." Deadpan. I'm like, yes, King. That is probably the best line you will ever say in your career.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like some people critique Matt Striker for that kind of stuff, and I'm like, at least he's being creative and I can tell is doing it for a purpose. I think that's better than like. Sorry, I don't care. He's blocked me on Twitter, whatever. Than like what Josh Matthews, does, or, and he's better at times, but Mauro Ranallo just making puns for no reason.
Yeah, Mauro's got to rein it in a little bit sometimes.
Killshot jumped off that ladder like
don't do it. Don't do it. Unless you have one written down, don't do it, Eamon.
Like those fans jumped the stage at Dean's. Like that's the Morrow commentary, and I hate it. I hate that. Every time Morrow does that, I cringe. Like, if Morrow says anything, something
pop culture,
like something like insert pop culture reference, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah,
it's not at least Matt Striker is, you can tell, is doing it for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, God damn it! Now I'm thinking of other Morrow lines. What did you do?
We didn't talk because he dropped a couple at the CWC finale, and I didn't appreciate it.
That's true. All right. Morrow was dropping lines like Hillary Clinton was dropping with pneumonia. Anyway,
wow, that's basically what he does.
That's basically it. Yeah. All right, so I'll go to my Mallow. Masquerade Sagrada. I wanted more from that match.
Mallow was gonna go. If it wasn't for the Striker thing, my Mallow was gonna go to Brenda. But
don't you dare talk about Brenda.
No, screw her. She loved Masquerade. She loved him. How dare she?
But Eamon. Clearly, you missed the underlying story. It's okay. I don't blame you. Masquerada was holding her back from going after her true passion of becoming a registered nurse.
Apparently. Side note, honest side note, I'm glad she's back because I've missed. Brenda is actually like kind of my underrated favorite of Lucha Underground.
She's ostensibly pretty great.
Yeah, she's kind of like that period where I really liked Dana Brooke when she was in the corner of Emma. How she would I just put a mic on her. Like, she's amazing. The way, like, some of the stuff she would just yell during matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brenda's awesome. Like Brenda, Famous B, Dr. Wagner, all of the above. Yes, please.
Yeah, yes, but to your point, I can see why they had like a really short match. Like, no pun intended. That match was shorter than. No, I'm not gonna do it.
You want to do it. You know you want to do it.
That match was shorter than CM Punk's UFC fight.
There we go. There it is, Eamon. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
Mara, I hope you're happy. But no, I understand why they did it. Obviously, I think there's a longer story that's going to go with this, and I like that Masquerada got beat really quickly because it sells Dr. Wagner being Famous B's new client.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think we might eventually even get to maybe a tag match with like Masquerita and let's say Son of Havoc versus Famous B and Dr. Wagner.
That could be fun.
That could be really interesting. All right. So Eamon, do you have a combio for this week?
Do we have a change? It's kind of a general change with wrestling, not as much as a Lucha Underground change, but it was in Lucha, and it's a weird one. I have these weird things with wrestling sometimes. And this, when I say this, it didn't take away from the match at all. I hate how tables break now. Okay. Like tables now in wrestling, I feel break like they break in the video games.
I think that's kind of a safety thing, though.
I know. Like, I feel like it's because they figured out how to actually cut tables.
Yeah, no one wants to hardcore Holly themselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I just miss the days when like you didn't know like how tables used to break.
Like they would splinter. Like
they would splinter, or you wouldn't really know where they would kind of. Sometimes they would go in like this, or they would whatever. Now they kind of, like I said, they kind of split like they split in the video games. They split too good. Like, but hey, that's a gripe,
Yeah, that's just minor.
I have those gripes all the time. I'm the guy and Lucha didn't do this, which I'm happy about. I hate it when ladders break now.
Oh, that always bothers me.
Ladders should not be breaking for like simple stuff. Like
no, bend. I'll allow bending.
And it bent on Marty when they did that fireman's carry thing. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it perfectly. It bends a little bit, but it still stays because it's metal, because it's a ladder. Like,
yeah.
Like when Jeff Hardy did it the first time to Edge at that WrestleMania, it made sense because of the way they did it. Like the height he was coming from and the way he landed, fine. Don't do it for every move now.
Yeah.
They're not made of wood. They're made of metal.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I have a change. You know what? I'm going to give my change to Prince Puma.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would have liked to see a promo from him after he attacked Mil Muertes.
Okay.
Like, because the crowd didn't know how to react. Matt Stryker was giving us context, which was great and much appreciated, but I would have liked to see, because we want to see this new fired up Puma. I'm sure we'll get this eventually, but right after attacking Mil Muertes, I think would have done a little bit better and would have made more sense why Catrina was holding him back.
You know what I would have loved at the least was maybe like a shot of it can be really subtle of Puma afterwards just kind of looking towards Vampiro. Like I love
yeah, that would have been good. That would have been really good too.
To me, my idea is like you can do like a backstage promo where Puma like goes up to is walking through and Vampiro and goes up to Vampiro and is like, well, how about that? I took your advice or whatever. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you couldn't do that because Vampiro was on commentary, but I think maybe just like a subtle shot like that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that like a side eye or a stink eye towards him, like yeah.
Something like the crowd may not have picked up on, but like because we watched last week, we
right? Of course, yeah. Like when Daga had the Cobra medal last season.
Yeah,
like, that's something the crowd wouldn't have noticed, obviously, but it's something that we were supposed to notice.
Yeah.
All right. So Eamon, and we're back to ranking this week. We didn't rank last week because we had so much going on, but we are back to ranking. So Eamon, where do you rank Lucha Underground this week?
Now, quick question: does the classic count? Does the classic finale count towards our rankings?
Because we didn't rank the classic, I'll say no.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, how about this?
Give me your ranking.
Give me your ranking with the classic and without the classic.
Okay, with the classic, it's gonna with the classic, Lucha's number 2.
Okay.
Without, I think it's number 1.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say number 1 both ways.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I love the classic, but Weapons of Mass Destruction. Sorry, and we got all of the Lucha Undercover stuff, which I love. Like anyone who follows my live tweets knows I love Lucha Undercover, which
can I just
still
say,
is a spin-off series waiting to happen. El Rey Network.
I also really loved Joey Ryan when he demanded money, saying that he needed it for child support payments. It was so good.
I know this story been filmed. He should walk in wearing Heath Slayer's shirt.
Yeah.
I got kids. I need this job.
So good.
It's so great. All right. So, Eamon, was there anything else you want to talk about that we kind of didn't hit on for Lucha?
I think we covered it all, really.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think we pretty much pour our Hennis.
Yeah, I like our Hennis, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have jobbers on every show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Eamon, where can the good people of the internet find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Eamon2Please. You can also check out the wrestling and promotion I'm involved with, Inspire Pro Wrestling, over at InspireProWrestling.com.
All right. You can find me at Mad Mike 4883 on the Twitter machine. Also, go to at Mayhem Show, hit up the hashtag MM for when I live tweet Lucha Underground, and go to our Facebook group. We may very well be having another. We might be doing a Lucha Underground Deadpool. We might be. I've been in talks with Matt. We think that might happen, or at the very least.
Not the movie. We're doing
not the movie, like an actual death pool. Like
we're doing
which character
who's gonna die.
Like which characters die this season on Lucha Underground? Because it's been known to happen. Like, Eamon, do you have a guess maybe right now?
Oh no! Oh, not now. I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
There's so many options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean there's definitely long options and short options. It's just gonna be interesting. So for Eamon Paton, I'm Mad Mike, and this has been your Midweek War.